Now it's interesting because in the original documents, which the full family found, one of the agreement was the name always stayed on the board. It would always say William Fold Talking Board Set. And so like I've told them many times, I bring it up in every conference call I have with Hasbro, that in their next version, they stick William Fold's name back on there. So if you ever feel like sending an email or dropping a letter, you should do that. Another really bad movie that I will tell you about, and I'm not telling you about it so that you watch it, it's horrifying, and I mean like offensive and awful. So I get a lot of contacts to consult. And one of the movies that I got was called Black Devil Doll. And it's black exploitation, 1970s. The plot of the movie is this kind of black radical character is executed in San Quentin. The woman is playing a Ouija board. Through the Ouija board, his soul comes out and makes this little devil doll. And he comes alive and he kills people. It's horrible and it's just really offensive. But there is a fantastically funny Ouija board scene in there. It ranks upon the best. But when I got this script, I read it and I was like, oh, there's no name. I cannot put my name on this. This is horrible. Of course I bought it right away and watched it immediately when it came out. But it does have a great scene in it. But I would tell you, if you're interested in seeing the scene, tell me, I'll email it to you. It's really fun. Don't watch the whole movie. It's very offensive. Remember that if you do it. So in 2008 to 2010, Parker Brothers did something else. They had a new CEO, and he decided that the Ouija board is controversial and that could actually sell boards. Why are we not doing anything with advertising? I think, when was the last time anyone saw a advertisement on television for the Ouija board? Never. I think the 70s I remember seeing one. And so they decided they would make limited editions, exclusive. They did it with Toys R Us, and they made certain games pink. So we passed around that pink board. So they made a pink edition. It was one run. It lasted a couple years until it sold out. But it was really funny because I have an article here, and it hit, so February 6, 2010, this hit Fox News. Pink version of the popular Ouija board game has some critics seeing red. And basically, the article was that it was designed for young girls ages 8 and older, but some say the mysterious product is a dangerous spiritual game that opens up anyone, particularly Christians, to attacks on their soul. So now it was not only harmful and evil, it was particularly dangerous to Christians. That's kind of interesting since we're a largely Christian country. So anyway, it made Fox News. It lasted all of a week, this big hoopla. They had already stopped making it, but it just goes to show, I will say this. I called up all the different Toys R Us and asked them, completely sold out after that. That article hit and they had like tons of extra, and it's just gone. Like everyone wanted one. And as you saw the board, it looks like My Little Pony exploded all over it. They sent me that when it came out. I was not a big fan, but it sold. So I was wrong. It sold. What can you do? I do a lot of conferences with other paranormal shows that are on. So a lot of them, if you ever watch any of those shows like The Ghost Hunters or Paranormal State or Paranormal Adventure or Ghost Adventures, all of them, if you watch them, first say they go into a house and they say there's activity and they're like, did anyone play the Ouija board? That's it. That's the answer. It's an easy answer. I go to these things and I talk to people and I'm like, okay, they use something called like K2 meters that measure magnetic disturbances that are going on. And they use EVPs, which are electronic voice phenomena. So they use their recorders and they ask questions. And you might think these questions are actually kind of interesting. They ask questions like, who are you? Is there anyone there? Did you die here? Do you have a message for me? And I'm sitting there like, is this a Ouija board? Like, this is exactly what you'd ask them. And they're like, well, no, because like it just makes this device blink. I'm like, okay, I want everyone to think about this logically. If something out there that doesn't have a body that you can see can make something blink, it can probably just slap you upside the head too, right? Like, I don't have Casper the Friendly Ghost book. He didn't tell me what it can and can't do. But people look at it, well, it's a device, it's not what you Ouija board, you put your hands on. Put your hands on it. And that's how it gets you, that it comes through you. And look, right up into the beginning, the people who used the Ouija board were showing people that it was something moving it, but there are people who believe that you are opening yourself up to having it done. Again, I would tell anyone who does, anyone who's interested in the paranormal, the spiritual, if there's danger in making contact. I don't think the Ouija board is any more dangerous than anything you might use to ask questions and get it back. just that the Ouija board's been around for 121 years. And if you've been around for 121 years, you've got all these stories and all of these things. And again, what do people remember? What makes the news? The Ouija board told me to kill my daddy, so I did. Not, the Ouija board told me where my ring was and I found it. Isn't that not a good story? No one cares. It was really funny. 2010, Betty White was on SNL. Does like everyone remember or see that? So she did a really interesting skit, and in it, she was talking about Facebook and how Facebook was for losers, and she can't believe anyone spends that much time on it. But one of the things that she talked about was they asked her, well, Facebook's a great way to reconnect with your friends. And she was like, my friends, if I want to reconnect with my friends, I have to pull out the Ouija board. It was fantastic. And again, I love to see that because it just goes to show, if you talk to someone older, they will always tell you something funny about the Ouija board. They'll say, oh my gosh, I remember when we played that with my sister, we pushed it around, scared the hell out of her. And they laugh. You show it to someone in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and they'll be like, we're not having that in the house. That's not Christian. That's not right. We get that, throw that right out of there. It's a funny thing. Today, you see younger people walk right up to them and grab them.